Hello, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I want to start this video off with a verse, a really important verse that I feel like is going to set up pretty much that I feel like is the crux of this video and this message, and it's Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. It reads, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." The impression that that verse gives to me is that God possibly can't stand, perhaps hates ignorance, maybe even more than I do. And I hate ignorance. I hate willful ignorance, right? And that verse gives me the impression that God does too. He cannot stand willful ignorance. He cannot stand people that put their feelings, right? Their feelings, their pride, perhaps even their skin color above the truth. At this point, I'm so disgusted about all of the things that I'm seeing in regards to BLM and their antics, and a lot of their protesters, their supporters, and how they protest and what they consider a protest. I'm really on a mission to expose the truth about them. It's exposing time, to be honest. I feel like more people should expose them for the frauds that they are. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that. And I found this really interesting article that I'm gonna read to y'all. And the reason why I've decided that I'm gonna start reading articles in my videos is because normally I would just post them. Like, I will post a link to this article. Hey guys, like on my Facebook or Instagram. Hey guys, you should read this. Like, this is really interesting. You could probably really benefit from knowing this information. One thing that I'm learning about, a lot of people from my generation, they don't like reading. I had this really interesting conversation with this young lady in my comments to one of my videos that I posted on Facebook. What did I title it? This New York rabbi seems to think that Andrew Cuomo is a homicidal maniac. What do you think? No. Crap, that wasn't the one. That wasn't the one. It was the video that I posted about Joe Biden and his racist history. I'm gonna get into that video. I didn't forget it, but I didn't forget. I'm gonna address the comment that was made under that video, but I'm not talking about that yet. This is about the video that I posted about Joe Biden. And I had a young lady comment under it, basically asking me all these questions. She felt some type of way about basically Joe Biden's history. And she had all these questions for me about Trump. What are you gonna post about this, and how do you feel about this, and he did this and that and that and that. And I responded to her with love. This whole lengthy response. I put a lot into that response too. Like, I gave her link after link after link. I'm saying link, like LINK. Link after link after link of articles. I posted those, like, in the midst of my reply, basically giving her facts and giving her all of this data that support what I'm saying. I did extensive research on this, and I told her, why I think that Trump is the better candidate and why Joe Biden cannot be trusted, because his history is way worse than Trump, but the media does nothing but shine a light on Trump and how horrible he is, and takes all the attention away from Joe Biden and his horrible history. So I'm giving her this lengthy response, and I'm posting all these links. Like, I'm just, I'm really going in, not on her, but letting her know what's really going on. What this girl told me what she responded back to me. I'm not reading that. Sorry, I'm not reading that. I don't care. So why are you in my comments asking me all these questions, questioning me on my beliefs and what I'm posting about, but I'm responding and you don't want to read the response? And then she had the audacity, you know what, this ain't about this isn't really so much about her. I'm not gonna get on her. But what she helped me understand is there's a lot of intellectual laziness going on in my generation. They don't like to read, they don't like to inform themselves. You know, a lot of them, you know, I hear a lot of them parroting back to me stuff that I know they just saw on CNN. They don't do their own research, they don't fact check, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. Like it's starting to, like, it's not personal, but it's the more I notice it, the more infuriated I get. We are in the midst of the information age, but nobody knows the information because they're not reading. They too busy taking everything that they hear on TV or from these mainstream news media outlets as gospel. They worship these they worship these mainstream news media outlets. They take everything they say as gold. They think it's all true. They hear something on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, all these left-leaning you know what, this isn't even what this video was supposed to be about, but I guess it is now. All these left-leaning news media outlets, they take what they say, which has a slant, by the way, that's why my hands are like this. They have a slant. They're all slanted, right? They take everything that they have to say for gospel. And it is like, you understand that they lie, right? Like they have an agenda. You know, when I was in high school, we took a class. Thank God for this class. We took a critical thinking class. I don't know how many other people took this class, but thank God I did. And one of the things that we learned is that in order to get, a more well-rounded perspective on a particular subject, you have to look at them from both sides of the spectrum. Both sides of the spectrum. You can't just get your information from one side and think you got all the answers because you got that side of the spectrum. You have to go on this side as well, on this other side of the spectrum, and perhaps, look at a few sources in the middle that consider themselves neutral, whatever. Look at it from both sides, take in the information from both sides, and then go from there. You don't go take your information from one left-leaning source and then that's it, you got all the answers. That's not critical thinking. Anyway, I hope I'm not sounding too brash, even though, the more and more I think about it, the more I feel like I shouldn't care. How people take this information. Everybody feel like, be careful about how you say stuff and this and that. But you know what? The truth is the truth. Don't you know that CNN just had to settle out of court for that high school MAGA hat fiasco? Remember those MAGA hat wearing high schoolers that they blasted all over mainstream media, talking about how these high schoolers was harassing this Native American guy with the drum. And at first they made it seem like they were stepping to him and pressing up on him and trying to intimidate him, right? But then somebody else got the whole thing from another angle, and they showed that the guy with the drum stepped to them and got in that high schooler's face and tried to intimidate him. They just had to settle out of court for that. Like they wound up suing him for like $250 million. The specifics of the case, I don't know. I couldn't find how much money they actually got, but they just had to settle out of court for that because they blasted that fake news story that they knew was fake all over the world for everybody to see, and had everybody thinking that this high schooler was a white supremacist because they've been dying to start a race war over the past 4 years. Stop listening to everything these news media outlets say. They have an agenda. It has a slant, okay? I'm at 10 minutes. I'm going to read this article in the next video. I just really had to get that off of my chest. Y'all, I'm going to read these articles to my viewers because I really want to be a blessing. I don't want to be so accusatory and, you know, y'all don't like to read and all this other stuff, but it's true. I mean, what's going on? Everybody just believing everything that they hear. Stop. Fact check before you take what you hear as fact. Fact check it. Do your own research, please. All right? Otherwise, you're just being willfully ignorant. Saints, please refrain from that behavior. You know, you're doing yourself a disservice, and the one that you serve can't stand it. He cannot stand willful ignorance. He cannot stand you refusing to educate yourself because you think you know all the answers already. You don't. You don't have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. That's why we have to read. That's why we have to do our own research. That's why God gave us a book, because we don't got the answers. He gave us a book to read. There's stuff going on in the world that, you know, that's slanted, that's reported on with an entire slant, with bias and propaganda attached to it. So you got to read and do your own research to make sure you're not being lied to. Suckers get licked. If they know that all they have to do is come out with a fake story and get you in your feelings, that's what they're gonna do, and that's what they've been doing. Okay? That's really it. I'll see y'all in the next video.